Welcome boys and girls, Costin here, playing as Todbringer in Lords of the End Times, and I am invading Sylvania. It is turn 6, I did force march my way through here, and I did get a bunch of Electrocount state troopers. Not enough state troopers, I would say. Never enough state troopers. And I am going to go fight against Vlad, because I'm really curious to see how things are against the vampire counts. Probably much the same, really. Ignore that auto result because it's not really representative of the actual battle situation. So this is a legendary neutral AI stats that we're dealing with. He is rank 14. He does have his items. So let's take a look at dealing with the new vampire is in a campaign situation. Of course, this is a really bad idea because he has multiple armies that he's going to throw. Just conquered Stirland in this situation, and then probably sold it to Elspeth to get her to deal with that situation. So here we are, Sylvania. We're going to have to, well, corner camp, I guess, would be a generous term for what I'm going to do. There's no, like, I have an entire melee army, but I'm not sure I can deal with, like, high-ranked Grave Guard and all the juicy stuff that comes from that. So we're just going to pull back and get my knights right in the backside right there. And see what we're going to deal with. Now, to draw him in, we're going to send a steam tank. Like, I swear, the Toddy campaigns that I've played, though granted it is a lot of it down to the fact that you are dealing with 10 turns limit, but I've been using the Electrocount State Troopers far more than in other campaigns, because most of the time you don't want to get, like, the steam tank very quickly, because, yeah, it is powerful, no one disputes that, but it's also very, very expensive, so most of the time you don't want to spend those resources when you can better spend them elsewhere. However, given the fact that you only have Warriors of Ulrich for much of the early game, it's beneficial from another perspective too. Oh, let's take... Alright, slow down. Fell bats coming in. That's not really what I'm concerned about. The Vargolfs are what I'm concerned about. I mean, I did say they're a good unit. I didn't mean that they're a suicidal unit. Alright, more fell bats coming in. That's going to be obviously a bit of an issue. Alright, Knights of the White Wolf. Let's leave the Toita Gun Guard on the flank. Oh, Isabella. You silly little minx. Alright, so the bats are gone. Let's go deal with Vlad. I think I'm just going to take some of the Caribur Great Swords and send those in. Toita Gungar and Knights of the White Wolf against... well, the Black Coach has done less than what I would have expected. They should be able to win that specific engagement. Alright, pull back the Knights of the White Wolf. They're not really equipped to tackle Blood Knights in a straight-up engagement like that. And focus on the Grave Guard. Now, of course, Knights of the White Wolf are designed as a cavalry to go for a straight engagement. The problem is Blood Knights are just better. Like with those lances in a cavalry duel. Like, they're more of an anti-infantry unit. Let's try and form up in such a way that we can actually get some shots off. But that's not really going to be a smart idea, is it? Vlad be Vlad. Alright, send them after a skeletal spearman. Yeah, as expected. Get the artillery to fire on the Grave Guard with halberds. And reform those handgunners to try and get some shots off into the main melee fight that's happening right here. Valgir is not a joke of a legendary hero, by the way. And the reason he's so strong is because, well, he's got he does start with legendary items. Let's send in Toddy. Like, that's one of the strong reason why a lot of like legendary lords that are dangerous in like a campaign situation are actually dangerous, is because they get their legendary items automatically at a certain level, and since the AI cheats, well, you can kind of figure how the AI gains its items. Something else to point out is that Vlad is particularly dangerous because, as a legendary hero, if you're playing Isabella, is because he starts with those legendary items. Alright, that's the enemy army, I guess. Alright, that's a Pyrrhic victory. But that was 2 units of Grave Guard, 1 unit of Blood Knights. Yeah, that was quite a dangerous situation to encounter. Problem is, it ain't. I'd really like some Regiment's Renown, but then again, we can't always get what we want. So yeah, what I was curious about is if he would have Sylvanian crossbowmen. Apparently he does have them, but he didn't have them in his main army. Can I defeat that if he counterattacks? This is where things are gonna get spicy between yourself and Vlad if you're fighting against him. Like, I could get hunting hounds, but I need 65 Imperial Authority in order to get the extra bit. Alright, let's see what tricks we can do. Knights of the Empire. Yeah, let's go with actually Riders of the Empire. We don't need more cavalry here. I mean, we could use it. But, yeah, just one of those things. Like, what can I do in terms of territory? Well, there are several things I could do. Like, for instance, selling stuff to... Marienburg in order to get a bit more money so I can get those troops. Also, we're gonna face some beastmen, I guess, right there soon enough. Now, normally you don't want to do this level of region trading for very clear and obvious reasons. One of the reasons is that as expected, Vlad shows up with the White King, Sylvanian crossbowmen. Vlad is Vlad, gentlemen. Cornflakes. Ain't happening, unfortunately. Is this winnable? Have a really powerful army, defeat Vlad, and then lose the follow-up battle just because vampire counts be vampire counts. What can one do? But yeah, we can position these guys. The garrison itself is not going to do anything relevant. And I could send the steam tank ahead. The one benefit I do have in this situation is his army is not really good whatsoever, so he's not really going to utilize it to its full extent. There are some fell bats, so you can see that he's got a bunch of skeletons, a bunch of fell bats, a bunch of like a couple of Sylvanian handgunners and crossbowmen. The only dangerous unit are those Sylvanian handgunners and crossbowmen, actually. So that's what I'm going to deal with. Alright, getting shots off with those. Yeah, he does have Spirit Leech, unfortunately. Alright, send the tank into the fight. Just a regular corpse guard. Yeah, trying to open line of sight for them. The one nice thing about Velgir is that he can really debuff the enemy. Get those handgunners sorted out. Well, Toddy just goes on a little adventure right there. Alright, pull back some units. I may have hurt my guys, but I don't really care. Alright, get those crossbowmen sorted out right there. Cause some fear right there, gents. Well, the Todbringer guard are holding quite firm. Can he kill them? The battle would be a lot easier if I had been able in a position where I could just dive bomb them. Dive bomb their lords as. Alright, those are some zombies. Let's try and get these guys right here. Yeah, so much for the Knights of the White Wolf, unfortunately. Let's see what happens right there. There we go. And that would be a victory. Oh, that was our White King. Okay. Vlad is Vlad. What do you want me to say? There's even more armies right there. Yay. Yeah, get rid of that. Pointless to recruit it. Maybe that's what I should have done all along if I wanted to get rank 12 with Toddy before turn 10 so I could play his quest pal. Because believe it or not, it actually was an effort to... it was an actual effort to do it like that, but yeah, I guess fighting the Vampire Council always pays off, doesn't it? But yeah, we still need 65. We're 64. Because if I can get Teuton Guard reinforcements, well, that would be definitely useful. Can I win that? Well, I don't have level 10 for destruction, unfortunately, yet. So yeah, dealing with a bunch of Master Necromancers. Not the most ideal scenario for... But let's take Templehof. And yeah, I do have the console command enabled and all that. That's mostly because, you know, I've been testing various things. And one cannot be ours. It would be nice to have mod templates, by the way. Not gonna lie. You know, just like, okay, this is where I... Because it's not like deactivating the mods that's the problem. It's activating the damn things. That's like the list... Okay, so I think we need to... There's nothing that affects combat, though, so the battles are pure. Actually, I don't know if any of those would work. Anyway. So we just want this tower to be destroyed, and then we want to get Toddy, the steam tank, and Valkyr to or Ulrich, really, as he's known as. Destroy. Destroy that other fort tower and open a path. Alright, open the gate. Alright, send our fellows in. Yeah, no problem. There we go. Minimal casualties. Battle is won. Yeah, maybe they should have made him the legendary lord. Who knows? Personally, I'm still of the idea they should have used Valten, but that's me. Alright, that's your Imperial Authority. By the way, gotta be a bit careful because I'm at war with a little rodent who may or may not become a major thorn in my side if I'm not careful. So yeah, I just gotta be a bit mindful of that situation. Now, of course, I don't really recommend doing some of the bullshit that I've done in order to get this far because you are losing a lot of money for those Electric Count State Troopers. And of course, it would be much better if I was spending time dealing with Maneater and Festus and all just proximity to close to home and all that stuff. That would be helpful. By the way, pro tip, never auto-resolve with the steam tank on an army. This is one of the reasons I normally don't use it, is because, oh yeah, it's really powerful in battle, It also takes the most damage in auto-resolve. Not in actual manual battles, but in terms of the auto-resolve. Who knows, maybe Elspeth will actually show up in a million years. Yeah, it's a weak army. But there is a nice little benefit from it. Ooh. So there is Vlad for you, gents. I need 500. Oh, man. So what does he have? So he can get a Lamian Vampire. He can get a Necromancer and Crypt Ghoul. So the Necromancers have been tied to the Corpse Card Crypt Ghoul building. And here's the dangerous part. He starts with this building. Now, he hasn't really fully utilized that, I think. Because, like, where's the Graveguard with great weapons if he can recruit them? I'm just saying. Alright, let's put Toddy right here. That way we can ambush Vlad if he tries to counterattack there. I hope he does. Well, he tried to, and he just kind of stopped in that situation. Oh, yeah, Elspeth might be coming. Or is she? Expect nothing. Or he's in ambush. That's also a possibility. Yeah, I think that's enough with Vlad for a moment. Let's go get Tanquil. I can't ally him. Shame. The feeling when you get all electric count state troopers. So he'll go to war against the strongest and most dangerous faction next to him. But not against... Well, Middenland is gone, so yeah, rip on that, but... Oh, Knights of the Blazing Sun, Reichsguard. So delicious. So useless. But generally speaking, this is one of the benefits of getting Marienburg quickly. Seems the rodent refuses to come out to play. I was eager to try and see what would happen if I dealt with Tranquil as well. Well, I guess that's gonna require a separate playthrough.
A quest has been issued.
Yeah, quest bell. Well, I got him. Yeah. Well, stay tuned for more, boys and girls. Costin signing out. Barely, I should add, but I did get him. Time to find out if I have the stones to do it, to deal with him.